is this: I have lived and learned and healed and hurt and laughed and cursed and prayed, and I will never be the same. And that is the name of your new album, Never Be the Same.
Yeah, it was definitely a labor of love, that record. I wrote all the songs on it, some of them over the years before my first record came out, and I just saved them for album number 2 because I didn't think the world was quite ready for them yet. And some of them I've written since the first record came out, which has been a really roller coaster time for me because all these amazing things have been going on in my career, but at the same time I've been mourning the loss of my mom, who passed away about 1.5 years ago, literally 4 days before I ever walked on a big stage for the first time as an artist. So I feel like she never really got to be here to see what is happening for me, but I've felt her presence a lot through this time, and so I dedicated the album to her, and I think there's a little bit of everything on the record emotionally, and songwriting is therapy, so sometimes you have to put it somewhere, and that's the place to put it.
Well, your first album, When You Can Fly, it took you 10 years. Obviously it didn't take you 10 years this time around. Was there a pressure to come out with an album, especially after winning CCMA Female Artist of the Year?
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure. I think it's always a lot of pressure for any musician to put out their second record. Because you have all the time in the world to make your first one, and then you go out on the road and life gets really hectic, and all of a sudden it's time to make album number 2, and it kind of sneaks up on you. And that, you know, summed up also with the accolades that the first album received and the awards, and I felt like the bar had to be set pretty high for the second record, and I was worried about it when I first went into the studio. But as soon as I started playing the songs with the band and I heard the album coming together, I just got really excited, because I think that this album's it's different from the first record, but digs deeper. I think it reflects my growth as a songwriter and a singer, but also as a person since the first record came out.
Now, one of our listeners back here asked if you were married, and you said no, but you are in love with George Canyon's gnome. Can you explain that to us, please?
Well, I just finished a tour with George Canyon, opening up some shows for him through Manitoba and Saskatchewan, and his band, they're a bunch of jokers, those guys, and I'm sure we've heard stories about George and practical jokes and stuff, but those guys carry with them a gnome. His name is Kevin Gnome, and he's a garden gnome. He's actually quite a lovely garden gnome, but he's seen many, many miles, and he is on stage with them every night during their shows and on their tour, and he has his own Facebook page at Kevin Gnome, and he has his own fans, and he has a really bad sort of personality to most people, but I had a little whirlwind love affair with garden gnome Kevin when I was out there, and took some pictures of it and put some music to it, and the guys put together a little video montage, so it was really quite a funny joke, I think.
And there are links from your Facebook and your Twitter, and of course I see your fans all the time talking back and forth with you, so if you are a fan of Victoria Banks, we'll definitely have to check her out online as well. Let's talk about a movie that you were recently in, because you were tweeting about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a really sort of out of the blue opportunity that came up, and my agent called me and said, how would you like to act in a movie? And I said, well, I don't really know how, but I'll try it if they want me to. And so it was like, okay, here's your script, and tomorrow you fly to Vancouver and you shoot it. So I flew in and had a crash course in movie acting, which is very different from music videos or, musical theater, which I've done. It's a lot more subtle when you're on film, and so I had to be reminded constantly not to move around and gesticulate with my arms and be big like I try to be on stage, and don't scrunch up your forehead like that. And that kind of
wrinkles, right.
Yeah, all these little things that you don't think of, like how to deliver your lines without moving your head when you're in a really tight close-up. That's hard. So, but the movie it's a Christmas movie. I think it's going to be called Christmas Lodge. That's kind of a working title so far. And it should be out this coming Christmas on television. It was all Canadian actors in it, so the lead character was Erin Carpluck from Being Erica on CBC, and she took really good care of me. She played my sister, and we kind of felt like sisters by the end of the shoot.
So were you typecast? Were you the singer in the movie?
Actually, no. I played a nurse in the
Oh.
movie. Yeah, I was a nurse, and I took care of our ailing grandfather. So I had to learn how to take somebody's blood pressure. And my John Innes, a wonderful Shakespearean actor, played my grandfather, and I had to take his blood pressure about 37 times in shooting this one scene. So I was really worried I was going to cut off the circulation in his arm and have to go to the hospital or something. But it was great. I learned so much. I hope I get a chance to do some more of that.
Well, thank you so much for popping into our studios this afternoon and performing live for our country club members and signing autographs and taking pictures. You will be in Lloydminster tonight. In fact, as soon as you guys leave West Edmonton Mall, you're hopping in your car. Do you have to start it with a beer can or anything like that, or do you have a better car now?
Not anymore, luckily. No more beer can.
So you're making your way to Lloydminster. It's actually a Relay for Life fundraiser that our sister station there in Lloyd is sponsoring, and I think tickets are only $15, and all proceeds again go back to Relay for Life. And good luck with the rest of your career, and next time you're in Edmonton, I'll make sure that I don't have you in the studio for 2 hours, and then we can do some shopping here.
Yeah, I'd love to do some shopping in the mall here. It looks like too much fun.
Thank you. That's Victoria Banks, CCMA Female Artist of the Year. Her latest CD is called Never Be the Same.